You come here today with a question, a good one, a dangerous one. You've tasted them both, haven't you? You've felt the exhilarating electric rush of motivation, that wild, beautiful surge of energy where you feel like a god, capable of anything, and you've felt the quiet, grinding, monotonous reality of discipline, that slow, heavy, thankless work done in the dark when no one is watching and the divine feeling is gone. And in your gut, you already know the answer. You know which one is the rock and which one is the sand, but you want to know why. You want me to lay out the case. You want me to put them both in the arena of the mind, strip them bare, and let them fight to the death so you can see, once and for all, why one is a fleeting phantom and the other is the very bedrock of power. Good. Because understanding this isn't just a piece of knowledge. It is the key to unlocking every door you have ever found closed to you. So let us begin. Let us put motivation on trial. Let us call it to the stand and examine its character, its methods, its very soul. And I want you to be the jury. First, who is this entity we call motivation? Motivation is a beautiful seductress. She arrives at your door on a sunlit morning, dressed in promise, smelling of victory. She whispers in your ear all the glorious things you can achieve. She paints vivid pictures in your mind of the finish line, the applause, the admiration in the eyes of your enemies. She makes your heart race. She makes you feel alive, powerful, chosen. She is the most intoxicating drug known to man, and under her spell, you make grand promises. You declare you will build an empire. You will sculpt your body into marble. You will write the great novel. You feel it in your bones. It feels true. But the seductress is a creature of fair weather. She loves the sunlit morning of intention, but she is allergic to the cold, gray afternoon of actual work. The moment the first real obstacle appears, the boredom, the frustration, the grinding resistance of reality, her beautiful smile tightens. The moment the work becomes difficult and unglamorous, she gets restless. She glances at the door. "This is harder than I thought," she whispers, her voice losing its melodic charm. "Perhaps we are not ready. Perhaps the timing is wrong. Let's wait for a better day. Let's wait until we feel this fire again." And then, just as quickly as she arrived, she is gone. She leaves you alone in the middle of the battlefield, with the enemy advancing and the ghost of her promises turning to ash in your mouth. She has taken her magic with her and left you with only the hard, ugly, unsexy reality of the work. And you, addicted to her presence, feel abandoned. You feel weak. You cannot possibly fight without her. So you retreat. You wait for her to return. That is the character of motivation. She is a beautiful, intoxicating, and utterly treacherous lover who will abandon you at the first sign of a real fight. Motivation is also a con artist, a grifter who sells you a map to a treasure that doesn't exist. The map is beautiful, drawn on ancient parchment, full of exciting symbols and promises of untold riches. The treasure is called the perfect moment. The con artist motivation convinces you that all you need to do is wait for this perfect moment to begin. The moment when your energy is at its peak, your mind is perfectly clear, all your resources are aligned, and the path forward is free of all obstacles. So you buy the map, you sit and you wait. You pass on good moments waiting for the perfect one. You say, "I'm not feeling it today, I'll wait until I'm truly inspired. The conditions aren't quite right, I'll wait until they are." You spend your days, your weeks, your years staring at this beautiful, useless map, waiting for a set of circumstances that will never arrive. The con artist has sold you the disease and called it the cure. He has sold you the poison of procrastination and called it the wisdom of patience. Your life is passing you by, second by second, while you wait for a perfect starting gun that will never fire. And motivation, the con artist, just smiles because he has already taken your money. The currency he steals is your time. Finally, motivation is a coward. a fair-weather general who loves the glory of the victory parade but is terrified of the mud and blood of the trenches. When the plan is new and exciting, when the vision of victory is fresh, General Motivation is at the front, waving the flag, giving inspiring speeches. He makes you feel like an army of one. He galvanizes your spirit. But war is not a parade. War is a long, slow, grinding hell. It is fought in the cold, muddy trenches of the mundane. It's the 1000th cold call. It's the 500th page of edits. It's the 10th year of waking up at 5 a.m. There is no glory in the trench. There is only mud and repetition and the quiet, gnawing voice of despair. And where is General Motivation in the trench? He is gone. He is back at headquarters, warm and dry, looking at maps and dreaming of the next parade. He does not do mud. He does not do boredom. He does not do the slow, painful, inch-by-inch advance against a determined enemy. He is a general of grand strategy, not of frontline combat. And so he leaves you, the lone soldier, to fight the real war alone, armed with nothing but the fading memory of his inspiring speeches. This is the accused, a seductress, a con artist, and a coward. This is the God you have been worshipping, a God that demands everything from you, your time, your faith, your energy, and gives you nothing in return but fleeting feelings and the bitter aftertaste of betrayal. This is the case against motivation. I ask you, the jury, is this an entity you can build a life on? Is this a force you would trust with your one and only chance at greatness? You're still here. You're listening to the indictment and you are not arguing. You are nodding because you have been the victim of this fraud. You have been left abandoned on the battlefield. You have wasted years waiting for the perfect moment. You know this testimony to be true. So now, let us call the other party to the stand. Let us examine discipline. Who is this entity? First, you must understand that discipline is not beautiful. It does not arrive with a flash of light or a chorus of angels. It arrives like a stonemason walking onto a job site at dawn. It is gray. It is silent. It wears old, worn clothes. It smells of dust and sweat, not of promise. It carries not a beautiful map, but a heavy hammer and a sharp chisel. It does not speak to you of the magnificent cathedral you will one day build. It does not care about the vision. It points to a single, rough, heavy block of granite at your feet, and it says, in a voice like grinding stone, "We will work on this piece today." Discipline is the Forgemaster. Its world is the dark, hot, deafeningly loud forge. It is not concerned with your feelings. It does not ask if you are inspired. It does not care if you are tired or sore or heartbroken. It only cares about the process. It grabs the raw, unformed iron of your potential. It thrusts it into the searing fire of discomfort, pulls it out glowing and vulnerable, and it begins to hammer. The hammer blows are your daily actions. The wake-up call, the workout, the focused work, the rejection of temptation. And it is a painful, violent, relentless process. With every blow, the weak, impure parts of you flake away as sparks. With every blow, the steel is shaped, compressed, hardened. The Forgemaster, discipline, does not stop when you feel good or when you feel bad. It stops only when the work of the day is done. It is not your friend. It is not your cheerleader. It is your creator. Discipline is the Stoic Sentinel. It is the guard on the wall of your mind, standing its post in the dead of winter, in the pouring rain, in the suffocating heat, in the lonely darkness of 3 a.m. while the rest of the world sleeps. It does not get paid in glory. It does not receive any medals. Most of the time, no one even knows it's there. Its only job is to be vigilant. Its only job is to protect the kingdom of your sovereign self from the internal enemies: sloth, comfort, fear, procrastination. When the traitorous whisper of the beast comes from within, let's just take the night off. The sentinel does not argue. It does not debate. It simply lowers its spear and says, no. When the enemy army of distractions, the phone, the television, the meaningless chatter, marches on the gates of your focus, the sentinel does not waver. It stands its ground. It does not do this because it feels heroic. It does this because it is its duty. It is its nature. Its identity is forged in the act of holding the line. While general motivation is dreaming of future victories, the sentinel of discipline is winning the war right now in the cold, lonely, silent defense of your focus. This is discipline, a stonemason, a forgemaster, a stoic sentinel. It is ugly, it is monotonous, it is unfeeling, it has no charm, no charisma, no seductive promises. Its only promise is this: if you show up, it will show up, and it will build, it will forge, it will defend. Not for a day, not for a week, but for a lifetime. So now we have the two combatants in the arena. The beautiful, treacherous seductress, motivation, and the ugly, reliable craftsman, discipline. Why does the ugly one always win? Why does discipline always trump motivation? The jury is waiting for the evidence. The first reason, and the most important, is the battle of their source code. It is the question of their origin. Motivation's source of power is fundamentally external, or at best ephemeral and internal. It is a reaction to a stimulus. It needs to be fed. It is a beggar. It begs for a sunny day. It begs for a good night's sleep. It begs for an inspiring song, a powerful movie, an exciting new idea. It begs for a cup of coffee. It begs for a compliment from a stranger. It is contingent. It is dependent. Its power is not its own. It is borrowed from the unpredictable, chaotic world of circumstances and feelings. To rely on motivation is to build your house on the shifting sands of your emotional weather. A storm will come, the feeling will change, the stimulus will fade, and your house will be washed away. Discipline's source of power is fundamentally internal. It is not a reaction, it is a decision. It is a sovereign act of will. In a moment of clarity, you, the king of your own mind, make a decree. You sign a law. You say, "This is what we will do." Discipline is the enforcement of that law. It does not ask the weather for permission. It does not consult your feelings. It does not need to be fed by an external source. Its source is the vow you made to yourself. It is self-generated. It is autonomous. It is a sun, not a moon that merely reflects the light of other stars. To rely on discipline is to build your house on the bedrock of your own sovereign will. The storms of emotion can rage, the world can descend into chaos, but your house will stand. Because its foundation is not in the shifting sands of circumstance, but in the unbreakable promise you made to your future self. The first trump is a matter of origin. Discipline is born from will. Motivation is born from whim. Will is eternal. Whim is fleeting. The eternal will always conquer the fleeting. The second reason is the battle of their relationship with reality. Motivation is a creature of fantasy. It is an artist that paints beautiful pictures of the future. It thrives in the world of ideas, of potential, of what could be. It is in love with the vision of the finished cathedral, the chiseled physique, the best-selling novel. It gets high on the dream, but it is allergic to the process. It is allergic to the mud, the sweat, the resistance, the friction of the real world. The real world is messy, boring, and often painful. It is not like the dream, and when motivation comes face to face with the ugly, brutal reality of the work required, its love affair with the fantasy dies. It cannot survive contact with the real. Discipline, on the other hand, is a creature of reality. It has no interest in the fantasy. It finds the dream to be a distraction. Its entire existence is based on the interaction with the process. It thrives on friction. It loves the grit of the brick, the burn of the muscle, the terrifying resistance of the blank page. To discipline, the resistance is the entire point. It is the resistance of the weight that builds the muscle. It is the resistance of the granite that sharpens the chisel. It is the resistance of the problem that sharpens the mind. Discipline understands that the cathedral is not built in the mind's eye. It is built in the mud, one heavy, real stone at a time. It doesn't just tolerate reality, it feasts on it. It uses the very friction that kills motivation as its source of fuel. The second trump is a matter of environment. Motivation can only survive in the sterile, perfect world of fantasy. Discipline is the only one of the two built to survive and thrive in the harsh, imperfect, friction-filled world of reality. And reality is the only arena that matters. You're still with me, jury member. The evidence is mounting. You can feel the case solidifying. Let's proceed to the third reason, which is the battle for time and the law of compounding. Motivation is a sprinter. It is an explosion of energy. It can produce incredible results in a short burst. For one day, for 1 week, a motivated person can look like a superhero. They can work 18-hour days, transform their diet overnight, and make massive, dramatic changes. It is a beautiful, dazzling spectacle, but the sprinter cannot run a marathon. The explosion cannot be sustained. After the sprint, motivation collapses. It requires a long, indeterminate period of recovery. This is the crash after the high. This is the week of rest after the week of intense effort. This is the period of burnout and disillusionment. The motivated person lives a life of violent peaks and deep valleys, a cycle of heroic effort followed by pathetic sloth, and the net progress over time is negligible. The valleys cancel out the peaks. Discipline is a marathon runner. It is not an explosion. It is a low, steady, constant burn. It does not produce dazzling, heroic results in a single day. A single day of discipline is often unremarkable. It is boring. It is one more brick in the wall. It is one more mile on the road. It looks insignificant, but discipline understands the most powerful force in the universe, the law of compounding. It knows that small, steady, consistent efforts, repeated over a long enough timeline, produce results that are not just additive, but exponential. The disciplined person isn't a superhero on any given day. They are just a craftsman, but they are a craftsman who shows up every single day. The small, boring, daily deposits of effort into the bank of their future begin to gather interest. Then, the interest begins to earn interest. Over 5 years, over a decade, over a lifetime, this compounding force creates a result so massive, so profound, that the motivated sprinter, still recovering from his last burst of effort, looks on in utter disbelief. He calls it genius, he calls it luck, he calls it unfair. It was none of those things. It was the slow, patient, brutal mathematics of consistency. It was the marathon runner crossing the finish line of a great life, while the sprinter is still passed out on the side of the road after the first mile. The third trump is a matter of physics. Motivation is a spectacular explosion that fades to nothing. Discipline is the quiet, relentless force of gravity, which, given enough time, can create stars and bend the fabric of space itself. Let us proceed to the fourth and final piece of evidence. This is the battle for your identity, the battle for your soul. A life built on the foundation of motivation creates a weak, brittle, and hollow character. Your identity becomes contingent on your feelings. You are a writer only when you feel inspired. You are an athlete only when you feel energetic. You are a good partner only when you feel loving. Your sense of self is a leaf in the wind of your own emotional chaos. This leads to a profound and corrosive lack of self-trust. You cannot rely on yourself because you know deep down that you are a slave to your moods. Your promises to yourself are meaningless jokes because both you and the beast know they are conditional on a feeling that is sure to fade. This creates a person who is shifty, unreliable not just to others but to themselves. It is the deepest kind of psychic poverty. A life built on the foundation of discipline creates a strong, resilient, and solid character. Your identity is forged not in feeling, but in action. You are not a writer because you feel inspired. You are a writer because you write every single day. You are not an athlete because you feel energetic. You are an athlete because you train, even when you are tired. You are not a good partner because you feel loving. You are a good partner because you choose the actions of love and commitment, even when the feeling is not present. Your identity is no longer a fleeting emotion. It becomes a fortress built of the evidence of your own repeated actions. This creates the most valuable psychological state a human being can achieve: self-respect. You learn to trust yourself. Your word to yourself becomes law. Your promises to yourself become sacred contracts. You know, not as an idea but as a physical reality, that you are the one who does what he says he will do. This creates a person who is an anchor, a rock, a person who is reliable to their core, first and foremost to themselves. From this core of self-trust, all other forms of power and success are born. The final trump is a matter of character. Motivation builds a house of cards on the sand of emotion. Discipline builds a fortress of granite on the bedrock of commitment. The case is now laid before you, jury member. The evidence is complete. On one side, we have the beautiful, charming, exciting traitor, motivation. It promises you the world and delivers you nothing but fleeting highs and crushing lows. It makes you a junkie, a waiter, a coward. It builds a character as flimsy as a spider's web. On the other side, we have the ugly, silent, boring craftsman, discipline. It promises you nothing but the heavy weight of the stone and the heat of the forge. It demands everything from you, your comfort, your excuses, your weakness. And in return, it gives you everything that matters: a life built, not dreamed, a character forged, not inherited, and a soul that is sovereign, not enslaved. The question was, why does discipline always trump motivation? It trumps motivation because it is born of will, not whim. It trumps motivation because it thrives in reality, not fantasy. It trumps motivation because it is a marathon runner in the long race of life, not a sprinter who collapses after the first dash. And it trumps motivation because it forges a character of steel, while motivation sculpts a statue of smoke. It is not a fair fight. It never was. It is the fight between a ghost and a mountain. It is the fight between an echo and a voice. It is the fight between a dream of a sword and the sword itself. You have heard the testimony. You have seen the evidence. The verdict, I believe, is clear. Motivation is guilty. Guilty of being a beautiful, seductive, and ultimately worthless traitor to your highest potential. And discipline, the hard, silent, ugly warrior, is the only force worthy of your allegiance, of your faith, of your life. The trial is over, but your work, the work of the jury member who has now seen the truth, has just begun. You must now pass your own sentence. You must choose which of these two forces you will serve. You have walked with me through this entire brutal argument, which tells me the Seductress has lost some of her charm for you. You are beginning to appreciate the ugly beauty of the stonemason. The choice is yours. It is the only choice that has ever mattered. Will you continue to live as the hopeful junkie, always waiting for your next hit of the beautiful lie? Or will you pick up the heavy, simple, glorious hammer and begin the real work of building your own soul? Choose.